Hey honey, watch day Midgard. My name is Michelle from Thor Wants Another Letter. Hello and welcome back to my channel. I am starting a vlog for the A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. Sorry, I'm running off a few hours of sleep. As far as I know, A Good Girl's Guide to Murder starts with a girl who's doing a school project and about something that happened in her community, and she just does not think that whoever killed the person and then took their own life actually did it. The facts are not facting for her, so she wants to do this school project to possibly figure out who did it and to prove innocence, or at least report on it. And here's where I am right now. Not even 50 pages in. I was planning on updating every 50 pages, but we're just gonna give my thoughts. Right now, I honestly think that it was Naomi Ward that killed Andy. Either Kara did it or Naomi did it, because they talk about how close they are and how best friends they are after reading the reappearance of Rachel Price, and it kind of giving you context clues in the very beginning. This is kind of how I'm feeling about it, where I'm like, I think that it was either Kara or Naomi. Helsing was her best friend, and like, I'm suspicious. Also, I'm doing dishes while I'm doing this because I really like Ravi, I think that's his name, because he loves his brother so much, and he's like, yeah, no, I can't think that my brother did it, so we will see what happens. I have been late with updating, but I am currently on page 200 of A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. I don't really know who it could possibly be now, although Max is looking like a really good suspect, but I don't think it's him. I still think it's Kara or Naomi and Kara's dad. A little bit around like 210, something like that. And now I'm starting to think that it's Mr. Ward. All of the stuff that's been happening, it's been at her house and the camping site. The families know each other. He would have known where she was on the camping trip. He also would have been able to get to her at school, because she just got a note at school. He would have been able to drop it off because he's the principal, or not, he's a teacher there. And also he could definitely be older guy because he's widowed or whatever, and sometimes men are nasty. So like, that's what I think. I think it's Mr. Ward now. So I only have 40 pages left of the book, and I'm gonna go to bed because I'm really fucking tired. But I kind of skimmed a little bit, and I'm like, this is the thing about Holly Jackson's writing for me, is that the people who end up being the culprit, this is the shortest vlog ever, so it'll be interesting to see the show and how that all plays out. So I finally finished the audiobook. I'm making myself some grilled cheese, and then I guess we'll cut to when I start the show. The ending always seems to get me a little. It's always just kind of like, what? I just was very confused. It made sense, but it didn't make sense. So I mean, it's good for the whole like, oh, you don't even know who did it until you find out, and then you're like, oh, okay. The ending was just okay, but like the whole process of it was fun. I'm probably gonna rate this like a 4, solid 4. We'll cut to when I start the show. It is currently 7 in the morning. I'm wearing my Native Daddy shirt. And now I am watching, I'm going to start the first episode of A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. It's August 1st. Look at this. Bam. I am so flippin' excited. Super duper excited. And go.
Okay, so I just finished episode 1 and I am loving it so far. I really love the character play with Andy and all of her friends. I love who they casted. Like, it's a great casting. I also really love that they stayed true to a few details. I love who they picked for Ravi. I loved who they picked for Pip. It was a great first episode. The first, loving it. And I'm about to watch episode 2. Just saw the second episode ending. I'm really loving how things are adapted, I guess, and the seeing it all come to life, I guess. I hate the fact that they made Max kind of hot and not like a douchebag like he is in the books. Interesting also to see Daniel De Silva. I like the camping clip. I feel like they did that really well. So I'm going into episode 3. End of episode 3, going into 4. Wow, things are really heating up. I didn't realize it was only 6 episodes. Everything's moving really fast, and I'm just... Okay, so it went straight into the next episode, and I was like, mind blown. I know what's gonna happen, but it's the way that it's leading up to it and showing... There's some things that they left out that I'm like, okay, I understand why they left that out. Because there's a lot of leads that she pursues. So, I mean, they stick pretty close to, the actual part of the plot. There's some things I'm like, oh, I wish they would have included that, but I can see why they didn't, just for time. And, I don't know, I'm really liking this, where it's going. I keep saying that every single clip, but I'll probably have more thoughts once I've finished and they changed some details around for episode 5, and I'm really glad that they did, because there was some a couple of things I was like, but this definitely kind of makes it more believable. I'm also really interested to see some other things transpire, but overall, this is so good. Chef's kiss, okay? And then I'm gonna go into episode 6, but I have to cook breakfast for me and my husband, so I am going to... We're taking a break. Okay, well, that was the end of the show. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little bit let down. I took notes. So here's the deal. I really liked the beginning episodes. 1 and 2 were really great at setting things up, at getting her into the mystery. 3 and 4 was really great at uncovering certain elements of the story, secret older guy, and also the campfire when it came to her meeting the drug dealers, Max kind of being sexy and weird, and then also 5 and 6 where she's really starting to hone in on what's going on, and then eventually the 6th episode where everything starts to come together. They find out Mr. Ward was having an affair. Andy, they also find out that Elliot didn't kill Barney, and then also the girl and everything like that. And honestly, for me, I feel like they left out a lot of things. I wish that they wouldn't have let out that she was a bully. I think that they played up the fact that Andy Bell was a good person a little bit too much. Or that it's oh, she seems like a good person, but in reality she's a drug dealer. So we're going to get into spoiler content as we're going along. If you haven't read the book, here are my non-spoiler thoughts. I was a little bit let down. I really enjoyed episode 1 and 2. I also enjoyed 3 and 4. And 5 and 6 is kind of where it fell off for me personally, because of the events that were leading up to the action of it, and feeling a lot of action within the books, but then not a whole lot within the show. So this felt a little bit flat for me, but I still enjoyed it overall. I thought it was really great. A lot of the minor characters are really great. The supporting actors, like Ravi's character, were really great. And I thought that the actress that played Pip was really great. So overall, I'd probably give this like a 3 out of 5. So we're gonna get into my spoiler thoughts, and I have a lot because this really fell off for me. Like I said, I really enjoyed 1 through 4, and then right up when people were starting to figure things out and all the pieces were starting to come together, that's when it got a little bit dry for me because the threats kind of stopped. Like, there were 2 different threats, and also there were certain parts of interviews and certain parts of other things that hadn't been clipped in because, of course, it's only 15 minutes. So you have to edit for 50 minutes. And I wish that they hadn't left out that she was a bully, because it sounded like she was a horrible person. So, like, finding out that she was a drug dealer really wouldn't have been that big of a jump. But I see why they did it. I'm glad that they left out the part about Pip doing that whole thing where she went to the train station and finding out who the drug dealer was. And then I'm glad that they left out the whole plot about the newspaper guy being a total dick. And the thing about the action with Mr. Ward in 5 and 6, I really wish that it had been a little bit more. It was thrilling, but it was not like oh my god, not like when they were in the forest type of thrill. It was just kind of like, oh, okay. Like, there was really no presence of a threat because Mr. Ward is just a guy. The fact that Mr. Ward talks about the way that Sal passed away and the way that he was murdered was just felt like such a throwaway thing. The fact that he was just like, oh yeah, I killed a guy and I made him eat pills and I suffocated him. Like, there was just nothing in there to make you feel more. There was nothing in there that made you feel empathy for Sal. Sal was just like a whatever character, and this whole thing really concentrated on Andy versus in the books where it concentrates on the both of them being victims. And I don't know, I've just read and seen better things that makes that more prevalent. Also, the part where they're talking about Pip's safety and how she keeps getting these threats, it really felt like some of them felt kind of downplayed. They also really downplayed the romance between Pip and Ravi. So when Pip and Ravi kiss at the very end, you're like, what? I know that they were like close, but I didn't know that they liked each other like that, because it doesn't give you a whole lot of romantic subplot either. A lot of the things that they also left out, maybe it's more America-centric, but they also left out the Islamophobia between Ravi's family, like the Singhs and the community, because like it does show in the beginning where kids are like knocking on their door and then running away and whatever, but in the book it really makes the Singhs look more like pariahs. Like, it's been 5 years, I believe it's been like 5 years, and it's an unsolved murder, and within 5 years you would think that a family who had somebody that killed somebody would go through a lot of hardship, would go through a lot of shunning, go through bullying, go through all of these things, but it really doesn't show you that they too exist and have gone through a lot of pain from losing their son. Another thing that I really didn't like was that they made Pip look kind of clueless. She does have this very keen sense, and she has this way about her that she really wants to get to the bottom of things, especially in the books. But I feel in this was just not conveyed as well. And also they forgot about Ravi's murder board too. He also had a murder board. The murder board was like the extent of how smart she was. Yeah, sure, she was like a literary genius or whatever, but don't they always do that? That doesn't really encapsulate how smart she is. I also think that it was really interesting to see the minor characters take more of a role. Like, you get to see more of Kara and Laura and some of the other friends that were part of it that I did not know who they were, but I will probably look it on IMDb later. What really botched it for me was kind of in the end when she was talking to Becca and Becca was explaining what happened. I also thought it was funny how when she was explaining during the murder of her sister, all of a sudden the random song from the Vikings came on, and I kind of had a moment where I was like, wait, why are they playing the Vikings theme song? And it kind of took me out of the story for a minute, but other than that, I got back in. I'm also really glad that Ravi turned back. The whole thing about him leaving was kind of weird. And also, I'm really glad that Ravi talked to Kara, and I think it's interesting how they switched from Ravi being on the Find My Friends versus Kara being on the Find My Friends. For me, I'm like, Becca's Pilates or whatever she does really must have paid off because of the way that she dragged Pip back to the well and how she was just like lifting her up and things. That's weird for me to say, but I thought it was really interesting how they put that into, how they put that in. Like, she was just, it's a, you know, people are more capable of murder than you think they are kind of thing. The thing that I'm missing from the end is definitely the action of it and the recovery of Pip and the recovery of Andy and how they found things and the overall investigative part of it. I feel like we really did need the TV stations, the speech, all of those things. I really felt we needed that because of the way that it affected the community, and you really didn't see that in the end. It was just like her mom looking over her paper and being like, yeah, this is a great EVQ. I feel like it really diminished the work that Pip put into it, and I feel like it also really diminished the overall arc of the show and the way that she was trying to figure out what happened. Things just really didn't slice up for me. I really liked that part at the end when Sal and Andy got to talk. That was interesting. I don't know what the arc of her trying to get away from her family was kind of, it didn't really make sense because you didn't really see Mr. Bell being scary other than yelling at Becca on the phone in episode 2. Max really should have got arrested. It really shouldn't have been some secret, like, I'm gonna make sure everybody knows how horrible you are. I really feel like they glossed over a lot of things that would have tied it more together, especially if they're not continuing on with the series. I would have watched a full hour and 15 minutes, hour 35 minutes, if it meant that it had given more action or if it had given more conclusion, because just being like, oh yeah, that was a great paper, like, I'm sorry, she solved a whole ass murder and she's just gonna get like an A or whatever. It really doesn't make sense to me. Maybe that's because I don't know shit about the British grading system. I don't know. Overall, I would say that I think it's a good show. You're gonna have fun overall. So those are my thoughts on the book versus the TV show and how I feel about all that. Overall, a good time. The book was overall a good time. It was a solid read. Will I read 2 and 3? I don't know. I heard that 2 is good, but 3 is bad, if I'm remembering correctly. But I don't know. We will see. I don't really have that many thoughts. I've had a lot of stuff going on, so this was just a fun little, a popcorn read, a popcorn time. Even though there was no popcorn. I'm gonna get popcorn on Friday. I think we're either gonna go see Trapped or we're gonna go see Deadpool. Which one would you go to? Comment that down below. Comment down below any of your thoughts on the show, any of your thoughts on the books, what you thought about it. Please let me know. I would love to have a discussion down in the comments if you want to become a patron. What's coming up next? I am hoping to film my mid-year reading book tag as well as my fall TBR. We will see what happens. If you got all the way through, maybe do like a magnifying glass or a red push pin. All my links are down below if you want to become a patron. The links are down below as well, or if you want to tip me on my coffee. I hope that you're all doing well. I hope you're nourishing yourself. I hope you're hydrating. It's supposed to get hot as hell, honey. Like, it is supposed to be like 80. It's 83 out right now, 85. And it's supposed to get up to 94 degrees tomorrow with 92 and I believe 90 on Saturday and Sunday. I'm not 100%, but we're hydrating, okay? Because I cannot handle the heat very well. So, I hope that you're enjoying yourselves. I hope you're doing well. Take care of yourself. Free Palestine. And
Chris Evans drive. What is going on with me and driving? Yes, I can drive very well.
I'm trying to get a bunch of bitches to kneel.
Jonathan? As if I don't like it. I don't like it.
Cut the check. Cut the check.
Get that bitch off the monitor.
Where's my husband?
Baby spider, do 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 do, baby spider.
Squirrels are scary, man. Who's your kid now?